I'm sure you all know the new Fast and Furious movie just came out, and guess who saw it unsupervised? This fucking boy. Or formerly a boy and now a man. That's right, there's no clickbait here. I saw Fast 9 without my girlfriend. If you can believe this, she actually said, Charlie, I don't care about this movie, so you can just go see it without me. I had to do a fucking double take. I said, bitch, are you serious? You don't care about Fast 9? I was livid. I damn near stormed out of the house right then and there. I swear to God, if the movie was playing when she said that, I would have went right there immediately without saying a word. I was inconsolable. Saying you don't care about Fast and Furious is like saying you don't care about oxygen. It just doesn't make any sense whatsoever. But as I marinated on it for a while, stewing in a warm bubble bath, I really started to understand her perspective. Maybe she just doesn't understand Fast and Furious. It is a franchise that's made for burly, lumberjack men like me, like a real man's man with a face beard and a dick beard. So maybe she just can't really appreciate that, because it basically is a soap opera for men. It's even said that every time Dominic Toretto mentions family, an angel gets a Dodge Charger. I was very excited for this film, so much so that I even threw on my best tank top to get ready. I threw on a snapback, the tank top, and I was ready to join the family for about 2 hours. Dominic Toretto let me suckle on his bosom, and god damn it, I appreciated every moment of it. I'd like to talk about the movie a little bit, but I'll go more in depth in the Moistmeter, which I'll post tomorrow. So anyway, let's just dive right in. It's like Dominic Toretto says, I live my life a quarter mile at a time. Family, 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 and family. So, the first showing today was at 3:30 p.m. and you bet your sweet fucking tiny hairless ass that I was there at 3:30 p.m. ready to purchase my ticket to the film. I didn't want any like biker gangs to get there and take up all the seats, which I'm sure they're known to do at every Fast and Furious premiere. I wanted to reserve a front row seat, the most uncomfortable seat in the house. I said, fuck it. I wanted to be as close to the family as I could possibly be. I wanted to feel the rumbling on my ass cheeks every time an engine was revved up, because it's like Dominic Toretto says, ask any racer, any real racer. It don't matter if you win by an inch or a mile. Winning is winning. And those vibrations were definitely getting me somewhere close to winning. And unsurprisingly, I actually wasn't alone in the first front row seats. I was joined by a fellow man who sat next to me. Let me tell you something. I felt a really close connection to this guy. I felt like we had a neural link, bonded by overwhelming testosterone as we watched this film together. And I can tell you, I promise you, he was having a very good time with this movie, because sometimes he'd let out little moans and groans. I don't know if they were like pleasure, or maybe he had like popcorn stuck in his throat. I couldn't tell you. But it certainly was a unique viewing experience having this sidekick next to me over here, making like weird sound effects sometimes. But again, it's like Dominic Toretto says, you could fuck a horse, but why would you want to? The thing about this movie is it's exactly what you'd expect if you're like a fan of Fast and Furious. If you've seen any of the last 4 or 5, you know that it's going to be over the top, goofy shit, and it absolutely is here, 100%. I think that's part of the appeal and the fun of it. It's not like a bad movie or anything like that, of course. In fact, I'd argue it's the best movie ever made. Because this movie had me feeling so much testosterone swelling inside of me, I wanted to lean to the gentleman next to me and just ask for a fist bump. Maybe even put my hand on his thigh. Like, it was getting wild. Like, every single time the music would kind of slow down a little bit, Vin Diesel would come on screen and say, hey, pass me that socket wrench. God, I'd recoil in my fucking chair and be like, get this man a fucking socket wrench. He's got a world to save. And then, I don't want to spoil anything, but they go to space. I'm pretty sure that's in the trailers. So when they said, how are we getting to space? And the solution is, we're going to fucking drive into space. It's like, well, obviously, how else are you going to get there? It's exactly what fits the male fantasy, you know? This is what we want. God damn it. My only big complaint is I think there's a little too much talking and not enough titties or action. Like, the dialogue's not bad, you know, it's very story-heavy, and of course it's a movie about family. It's one of the very few family movies left. It's very focused on it, kind of like how Death Stranding was its own genre, the Stranding-type game. Fast and Furious is, of course, known as a family-type movie. And that's great and all, but I think they really dialed it up to, like, to 10 on this one. There's a lot of dialogue, and not all of it's great, but some of it is. Like, there's some memorable lines, like the time John Cena says, hey, Dom, I'm not your friend. It's like, Jesus Christ, you know, like, I felt that. Like, goddamn, you know? And then he just fucking shifts gears and fucking pumps it. It's like, damn, you're gonna leave him like that? It's dirty. Then he drives off a cliff and gets picked up by a plane, you know? It's like, that's one hell of a way of making an exit. But again, I mean, no big complaints, of course. There's so many cars in this movie. Every time I hear an engine rev up in the real world, even if it's like a fucking smart car turning on its electric engine, I'm gonna get a boner. Like, tonight I'm going to hear screeching tires in my wet dreams. Like, when I was leaving the movie theater, I was ready to hop in my car and just do fucking donuts in the parking lot. I wanted to go up to strangers and ask them to pop the hood. And, like, bare hand the carburetor and then ask for a wrench. You know, like, I was feeling like a car man. Like a big car man. So, yeah, you know, I just wanted to talk about this a little bit. Because, you know, it's not every day you get to go see Fast and Furious by yourself. So, yeah, you know, that's all I wanted to talk about. That's about it. So, yeah.
Moistmeter was brought to you by Amazon Music. Sign up for free below using our referral code.
Initiating moisture.
Welcome to the Moistmeter. Today we're taking a look at Fast and Furious 9. This is a franchise that's known for family and fucking, and it welcomes you into the fucking family with open arms. Fast and Furious 9 follows the exact same pattern the previous 4 or 5 have, where it's just extremely silly and over the top. But unlike the previous entries in the franchise, I think this one really misses the mark. Apparently the writer for the other movies, where they really started going fucking wild, didn't work on this one, and I can actually feel it, because this movie seems like it's doing its best to be like a college humor parody of what Fast and Furious was perceived to be on Twitter. It does everything people joked about, but in a bad way. Like, it's not fun to watch. Like, this movie has constant shit going on, like literally always jingling keys in front of your face, and yet you're probably going to be bored watching it. There is no tension in this movie and no stakes. Watching this movie made it feel like I was watching a child play with action figures and Hot Wheels. It just, there's no weight to anything. There's characters that'll just get thrown through fucking cars and metal billboards and shit, and they won't even react. It's like everyone's just made out of adamantium. But even still, it's not enough to be that entertaining, and I think it's because there's absolutely no stakes or tension. Yes, in the universe, there's stakes, like the whole thing is about this weapon that can hack everything, hack the world, hack your fucking grandma's vibrator, your AOL account. It's not safe anymore because we can hack it with this weapon. So, like, there's stakes in the world, but when you're watching it as an audience member, you know that nothing's gonna happen to any of the main characters at all. They make it very clear. Like, there's just no, at any point, any moment where you're like, wow, I wonder what's going to happen next, or wow, how are they gonna get out of this one? Because they always get out of it in the most cartoonish way possible. There are scenes where Dominic Toretto is like holding 2 full-grown men in body armor up over his head and like plowing them together like he's the Hulk. He's just throwing them over the railing. Like, everyone's like a balloon animal to these characters. It's so weird. Like, it's not like enjoyably weird or silly though, whereas the other Fast and Furious movies have been. And I think it's because they really wanted to just keep one-upping themselves with the craziness, but now they have nowhere to go. So that thrill, that shock factor of, oh my god, they're fighting a fucking submarine. Holy shit, Godzilla's here. Dominic Toretto's gonna have to beat his ass using cars and family. Like, that, all that like fun and craziness, I think is gone. I think it's lost that magic. This movie just didn't even really feel like I was watching Fast and Furious. It felt like I was watching something soulless. Like they were just parading around the corpse of Fast and Furious now. And I don't think that's the fault of the cast. They seem still very passionate about the series, and they definitely gave it their all and, you know, put a lot of effort into it, even though a lot of times I think the dialogue betrayed them, because the dialogue was super fucking goofy and there was a lot of it. So it didn't really help them or their characters to have them constantly talking about the same shit. And so many times when watching this, I just had to scratch my head and be like, are you fucking serious? That doesn't add up. Like, even setting aside, like, the, you know, suspending disbelief of, like, cars fucking flying, literally, like, Batman hooking themselves and flying across a ravine, or getting magnetized to a plane after they jump off a cliff. Even setting that aside, just some of the shit that happens, just, it's so childish. Like, there's plenty of times where the bad guy could just execute the entire family. Like, there is a time where one of the henchmen is about to pull the trigger and kill one of them, and for no reason at all, the big bad guy just shakes his head and says no. Like, this is a character we've never seen before. He has no affiliation with his family. He's just a guy with a lot of money that wants to rule the world, and he wants them dead. He wants them dead more than anything else. If he had fairy godparents, he would ask them just to execute that family instantly. But right when he's about to pull the trigger and just kill one of them right then and there, he just shakes his head inexplicably saying no. And then he leaves. And then the family breaks out because there's only like 5 guards left now. Like, it just doesn't make any sense. Now, John Cena is introduced into this movie, and I don't think he does like a bad job or anything, but his character is dog shit. This is going to be spoilers real quick. So we're going to get into spoilers. Fair warning. Okay, now you've been warned. John Cena plays Dominic Toretto's brother. I'm not going to go super deep into spoilers, but the thing is, Dominic Toretto blames him for the death of his father. And for a movie that's all about family, it blows my mind that at no point is this ever even hinted at in any of the other movies. This is just pulled out of their ass. Like, oh, no, he's got a brother, and he's a bad guy. But when they explain his origin story, you almost have to wonder, is Dominic Toretto the dumbest man on the planet? Does he even care about family? Because he blames him for the death of his father without ever even talking to him. He puts together some pieces like, oh, you know, my brother was the last one to touch my dad's car before it blew up. My brother is obviously the one that blew up Dad. And then he never even asks him, you know, is this true? Why did you do it? What's going on with this? He immediately just says, you're out of the family, you're fucking outcast, and I never want to see you again, and then just erases him from his memory. Like, for a man who's so big on family, you would think he would at least talk to him about it and, like, ask, you know, did you notice anything wrong with the engine? Like, you know, was there something else going on here? Instead of immediately jumping to, my brother killed Daddy. Like, it's so dumb. All right, end of spoilers. You know, now we're back into non-spoiler territory. It's just bad character, bad writing all around. I definitely think this is the weakest Fast and Furious movie we've seen in at least a decade. I've been very vocal about my enjoyment of the Fast and Furious movies just because they're just goofy fun to kick back and relax with. But this one challenged the intelligence of the audience, literally just calling them stupid and spitting in their face with the things they put on screen. Like, it's dumb. Like, it's not really fun dumb or like, haha, this is dumb. It's more like, I'm embarrassed to be watching this sometimes. Which sucks to say, because I do like the Fast and Furious movies. I have quite literally seen all of them. I grew up watching the shit out of the first 3 Fast and Furious movies. They were some of my favorites. And I've liked the series ever since. I don't think there's been like a bad movie, or at least one that I haven't enjoyed, until now. I don't think this is a very good movie. I think this is just really misses the mark. But hopefully they'll get it back together for Fast and Furious 10 when the family's in the geriatrics ward and then they have to start drifting around using their segways and walkers. You know, maybe then they'll get the magic back. But for now, Fast and Furious 9 I think is definitely the weakest one. So plugging this into the Moistmeter, I'm giving Fast and Furious 9 a 50%. I know I've only really been shitting on it, but I think it's important to note that it is a really well-made movie. Like, everything looks good. The action is still impressive, and there's constant shit going on, so it is very commendable in that regard. And if you're just going for, like, ridiculous, wacky scenes and don't care about anything else, you'll probably be pretty pleased. Although pretty bored during the mountains of exposition that they shit out sometimes. But it's not like a bad movie or like shittily made or anything. It's just there's so many components of it that aren't good, especially compared to the other 50 fucking Fast and Furious movies out there. So it's just disappointing, really. But there are good things about it too. Like, I still do like the characters. I feel like attached to the family, as goofy as that is to say. Like, I quite literally grew up with a lot of these characters, so they do hold a special place in my heart. And there are good moments with the characters when they interact with each other. You know, I definitely think the movie's not all bad. It's just not great, or what I would have wanted for more Fast and Furious. Anyway, that's about it. I'd like to talk about Amazon Music for just a minute. I've mentioned on stream multiple times now, I'm not a huge Spotify fan. I've used it a lot in the past and just never really found myself satisfied with it. So recently, over the last couple months, I've been using Amazon Music more and more, and I just really like the service. So if you're interested in trying Amazon Music, you can click the link in the description below to sign up for a free trial. It's just totally free if you use that link below, and just give it a try. See if you like it as well. I just think the selection's a lot better, and I just find myself being more of a fan of Amazon Music. So yeah, if you're interested, link in the description below. So yeah. The Moistmeter is a proud partner of our comic book series Godslap and Plague Seeker. Both are available at badegg.co. Link in the description. I imagine you all can guess why I'm so sweaty right now. I just got home from watching the new Fast and Furious movie, and the testosterone that was pumping through my veins watching that bad boy had me perspiring like a Redditor on OnlyFans. What a journey. I felt like the movie turned the NOS canister in my soul at full blast. Had me, fucking firing into the theater seats there. I saw it in an empty theater. I went to a little matinee today at 2:30 p.m. and no one else was there. I felt insulted on behalf of the whole family behind the movie. How could you show such disrespect and not show up to Fast and Furious at every single showing throughout opening day? But regardless, I think that is just despicable behavior. There's just some swine out there that can't appreciate high-quality art like Fast X. I can. But honestly, the serene masculinity that washed over me in this completely barren, empty theater was actually wonderful. I feel like it was the optimal experience. It felt so personal, as if I was able to connect better with all of these very well-rounded, beloved, deep characters. It felt as though Dominic Toretto lunged out from the screen, opened up his arms, and invited me, Charles, to suckle on his bosom, and then pulled out a chair at the barbecue and handed me a Miller Lite to join the family. And it felt good. The film is exactly what you're expecting. Fast and Furious is a franchise that just keeps trying to ramp up the ridiculousness. It started with Fast 5, and it's never let off the gas pedal since. So they've had, of course, like the nuclear submarine shooting into space, all of that shit. This one, once again, tries to go fucking hog wild, and it does. But I will say, this doesn't have any of those moments. Like Fast 5 has the vault, the space launch, the submarine, all of that, iconic moments. This one doesn't have anything like that. Instead, the whole film has moments similar to those moments, but nothing like one particular instance. The biggest scene by far is kind of an homage to the vault scene from Fast 5, where instead of a vault going through the city and like blasting through cars and people and shit, it's a giant bomb that's rolling around Rome and about to blow up the Vatican. And it's hype, like it's cool, and that's all these movies are about. It's very self-aware, it knows it's cheesy, it knows it's ridiculous, and it embraces that with a smile on its face. And I appreciate it. I definitely did have fun and giggled to myself at the absolute outrageousness of a lot of the scenes. But even with that being said, there are some things that are just downright shit in the film. There's just some awful moments that had me rolling my eyes. But before getting into that, let's talk about some things that I enjoyed. I liked Jason Momoa's character. He plays Dante. This isn't a spoiler, it's in the trailer for the movie. He's the son of the big bad from Fast 5, and he's out for revenge. The very cookie-cutter, formulaic Fast and Furious plotline. Every single person in the world is out for revenge on Dom in some way. The entire criminal underworld wants to fuck Dom in the face and his whole family because they don't like him. Or he's done something to someone that is somehow connected to them, because everyone in the Fast and Furious universe is connected to Dom. He's like Genghis Khan, where Genghis Khan populated half of the planet or something during his heyday. That's Dominic, but with criminals. Every criminal in the world somehow ties back to Dom in some way. For example, in this film, Dominic goes across the fucking world and somehow runs into someone that is related to someone that Dominic used to fuck. So, the Toretto DNA is spread very far across the globe. He is this singularity that pulls everyone in that universe towards him. Which is, of course, goofy and fun, but regardless, let's get back on track. The main villain, Jason Momoa, son of the big bad, wants revenge. He was a cool character. This is a Jason Momoa I've never seen before. He really tried to channel some kind of Joker character for it, and it was so silly that I loved it. He just goes really outrageous with the whole performance. He'll be like, Dom, you ever heard of Mozart? Well, you best start believing in ballet, Dom, 'cause you're in one. And then he starts busting out ballet moves and then directs a sniper to start shooting at him. There's even a Joker moment where Dominic's beating the shit out of him, pops one of his teeth out, and he's like, ha 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 ha, Dom, you're punching me just the way I wanted you to punch me. Have you ever heard of birds, Dom? Do you know birds? He just comes up the stupidest shit. And he's always talking to, he talks to corpses. He's very quirky. He's the quirk master. And it's so stupid, in the best way. It's very clear Jason Momoa is just having as much fun as possible. Like, he stabs someone and then starts, like, sucking on the blood like a popsicle. It's so dumb. But I really liked it. There's even moments where he reminds me of Maximilian Pegasus from the first season of Yu-Gi-Oh! Because, for some reason, Dante, that's Jason Momoa's character, calls him Dommy Boy. Constantly. Just like Pegasus, where he calls Yugi, Yugi Boy. Like, I was half expecting him to trap his family soul in a fucking Yu-Gi-Oh card in this movie. It was so fucking ridiculous. But yeah, I thought he was cool. Well, cool is probably not the right word. I thought he was fun. But yeah, of course, the bread and butter of Fast and Furious is its action. This is filled to the brim with action. But man, I've got to tell you, even suspending disbelief, it is really frustrating how every single enemy is this, like, armored to the gills, tactical monster, like the fucking juggernaut from Modern Warfare 2. And yet, they're still just punching them in the face, like, with their helmet on. Like, Dominic and his friends just punch their helmet over and over, and somehow that's incapacitating them. What the fuck is the point of the helmet if it can't even block a punch, or stop you from getting hurt from a punch? It's crazy how often that happens. Like, they're not even getting shot most of the time. They're just getting, like, punched and kicked in the legs and like, oh shit, my leg! And they're dead. Like, every single henchman here is just one sneeze away from being defeated. Like, there was never any stakes in this film. Obviously, it's Fast and Furious. Everyone's got plot armor. Everyone's got God mode turned on. They're all fucking invincible, surviving the most ridiculous shit. And they never miss a shot, and their punches can shatter diamonds, which is fine, but just stop putting them in armor. It's so fucking dumb. Like, that actually kind of grinded my ass a little bit. And then another thing I really didn't like is its reliance on flashbacks. So they'll take you to, like, Fast and Furious 5, and they'll show you a scene that we've all seen and enjoyed, and then they'll be like, but did you know Dante was right here? And it's the same scene, but then Dante's in the background, like, fucking smoldering. And then they'll do that 20 times throughout the film. And then when they took the vault, Dante was in the bathroom in this stall. And he opens the stall door. Like, they just keep doing these flashbacks to these moments as if, like, Dante was there the whole time, and it's really goofy. And then they'll do that for other characters. And then someone you thought was not there was actually there in the stall next to Dante. And then Dante opens the stall door, and then the stall door next to him opens, and it's like the other guy. So it's like, we got you. Like, it's supposed to be this eureka moment that catches everyone off guard, and it's just an ass pull. Like, I have no doubt this whole film's production was all of the action. Let's write all of the action. Ah, shit, now we have to have some kind of story. All right, we'll just make it up as we go. Because that's what it feels like half of the time this film's running. It gets a bunch of different plot lines going in different directions that introduce all sorts of problems that don't get solved and don't have any real reason to even exist in the first place. And then they'll just come out of nowhere with some kind of half-baked explanation or, like, some kind of goofy motivation that ties back into a flashback. It's pretty fucking dumb. Like, even for Fast and Furious standards, the story's pretty fucking stupid. But that's fine, because who cares, right? Again, no one's going to Fast and Furious for a profound, thought-provoking story or character piece. But yeah, I do want to point that out. And I also do appreciate that they tried to bring street racing back in. There is a whole street racing scene, like, but it doesn't work super well. It's kind of cringy a little bit. But I do like that they tried to bring in some street racing. They've done that before as well, but here they really gave a spirited attempt, but I don't think they really landed it all that well. Because the street race doesn't last very long, and I don't think it was very interesting. But I like that they gave it a whirl. Because I still think the street racing component of Fast and Furious was really special and really fun. But I do still like the over-the-top nature of what it's become. Anyway, there's not a whole lot to really digest and dive into. You get exactly what you're expecting. A whole cast of fucking Avengers, superhuman superheroes with cars, fucking blowing up helicopters with cars, using cars like there's some kind of, like, aircraft almost. All kinds of high-tech weaponry that looks like Jimmy Neutron designed it in a shed. So you have like this makeshift plane out of 5 pieces of wood that John Cena flies around on. It's craziness. And that's what you want with Fast X. But if you're someone that really doesn't care for the direction Fast and Furious has been going with trying to one-up itself with over-the-top action jumping the shark, you're going to hate this movie. Plugging it into the Moistmeter, I'm just going to give it a nice 70%. I had fun. I think most people have fun if you go in there with the right expectations and the right mindset. They're just going to shove popcorn in your face and have a good laugh and a good time. Like, that's what it's all about with Fast and Furious, and I think it delivers. Man, some of the dialogue though is awful. Let me point that out real quick. There are some horrible stinkers of lines in this film. Like, I really feel like some chat GPT generated lines at moments in here. But anyway, yeah, overall, fun film. That's really about it. See ya. Huge thanks to ourselves for sponsoring this Moistmeter. Godslap is a comic series written by myself, Jackson, Matt, Danny, and Aubrey Sitterson. It follows the story of a character named Ace, who's an extremely powerful slapper in a world where slapping is king. Issue 3 just dropped. It's all available at badegg.co, and shit is starting to pop off. Ace is being hunted by a mysterious foe named Defister, who, after swan diving through a hospital, picks up Ace's trail and hunts him to the ends of the earth with his sidekick Olfactor. And also, our newest comic series, Plague Seeker, just came out. Issue 0 is available at badegg.co. It's written entirely by myself and edited by Jackson. It's set in a world 1,000 years after an apocalyptic event known as the Calamity. An asteroid hits Earth, and it brought with it mutations that changed all of its inhabitants. Now the world is infested with things called plagues, and atop the food chain sits 8 great plagues that control the entire world, and only one man stands against them, the Plague Seeker, who has an insatiable appetite to devour those 8 great plagues. So all of this is available at badegg.co, so please check it out. See ya.